This
and
conference
ESA
will now be recorded.
Proclamation. Those who want to, please stand and join us.
God, we pray for the leaders here tonight. We pray that you bless them and guide them in everything that they do here and throughout the week and the year. I pray for the city as a whole and that you bless us and lead us so that we can take care of each other.
Yes.
Finally, I pray for the kids in the schools and to be there in the good times and the bad ones. And amen.
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 Ian? Come down. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, so under awards and proclamations, we'd like to add number 2 item. That would be to introduce and swear in new police officer Jenny Mcgee.
Okay.
And then under resolutions for consideration, add item number 4. And that would be a resolution to consider adopting by reference the updated personnel policy and guideline manual for the city of Arkansas City and repealing resolution number 2022-02-34.
I make a motion that we add those additions to the agenda.
It's been moved and seconded that we add items to the agenda. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the agenda. Do I have that?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And now the proclamation, the reading of the proclamation. Turn and face your audience, right?
As the Congress of the United States, being enacted in 1968, of which Title 8 declared that the law of the land now will guarantee the rights of equal opportunity. Whereas the city of Arkansas City, Kansas, is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all. And today, many reality association support their housing boards, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development have through the years received thousands of complaints of alleged illegal housing. Too many. Can and should. Even in Arkansas City.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming and doing that for us. All right. And now we move on to our sworn new officer.
Good evening. I don't know that I can follow that up. Lisa did such a great job.
Awesome.
So I am here tonight to introduce a familiar face, but in a new role. Jenny Mcgee began employment with the Arkansas City Police Department in February of 2019 in the capacity of administrative assistant. During that time, she utilized her skills to develop a very effective social media network and assist then Chief Ward with daily tasks. Since my appointment in July of 2021, Jenny has been very instrumental in helping me with that transition, and to that I say thank you very much. Jenny has been a vital part of the department's community-focused approaches to policing. She's helped to organize events and has been our official photographer for the last 2 years, which now I have to fill that role. So I'm sure I'm not going to do as good a job. Jenny has participated in countless events that support the department's mission in connecting with the community. Jenny has been a wealth of knowledge and brings a ton of experience to her new role as police officer. Jenny became Officer Mcgee on March 28th. During the hiring process, Officer Mcgee was asked what motivates her, and she said helping people, especially helping them fix problems. Officer Mcgee is currently assigned to field training with her Kansas law enforcement training coming up in the next month. At this time, I would ask the city clerk to administer the oath of honor to Officer Jenny Mcgee.
Okay, raise your right hand and repeat after me. On my honor.
On my honor,
I will never betray my badge,
I will never betray my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
my character,
or the public trust.
or the public trust.
I will always have the courage
I will always have the courage
to hold myself and others
to hold myself and others
accountable for our actions.
accountable for it.
I will always uphold the Constitution of the United States
I will always uphold the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Kansas,
and of the state of Kansas,
my community,
my community,
and the agency I serve.
and the agency I serve.
Congratulations. Tonight.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay, so moving on to, there are no comments from the audience. Okay.
One person signed in.
She doesn't have anything to say, she said. Okay, on to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as written.
Second it. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as written. Any further comments or?
I'd just like to say that disc golf course has been a neat attraction. There's always people down there. That was a great idea by the organization that did that. So it's neat to see people using it. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all signify aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Old business.
Item 1, consider second reading of a resolution approving a recommendation of the Arkansas City Beautification and Tree Advisory Board to initiate an adoption contract for 1 year with the Friends of Wilson Park for the old fountain in the Docking Memorial Garden at Wilson Park, located at 701 North Summit Street in Arkansas City.
And I think, were we going to find out if there was, that structure was going to remain?
Yeah, we need to work through staff and visit with the documents on that and see what they want to do about that structure. So
Okay. Do you want to table it or do you?
I mean, that's fine if we want to table it for another meeting. And we can,
Table it for a month? Will that give you enough time?
Yeah.
We bring it back up in May.
Do you want to say something or?
Oh, well, I talked to Judy. I volunteered. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not on your agenda or anything.
No, that's fine.
But I am.
You are now.
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah.
Well, I volunteered to help with the pollinator garden. And I did talk to Judy Docking and she thought it was great. It's an eyesore the way it is now. And at that time, she didn't mention that they were going to take down the thing. And I had never heard that till tonight.
that's something that staff's gonna have to take care of it, and there's some concern that they would like to see about maybe removing it because of the concern of having to take care of it all the time. So they were wanting to check and see if there was pushback.
What is to take care of on the monument itself? I mean, is it something that the volunteers could also wipe off the bird poop or whatever?
No, we just advised staff that we would give them a little more time.
Okay, well, I'm here representing the other people that couldn't be here, so hopefully this will get back on the discussion list because.
Well, we got to well, if we're gonna, the planning season is right upon us, so we need to get something done, so.
We'll have to start working on it as soon as we can. So I just now heard that I was shocked that they were going to take the thing down, so.
Yeah, it's something
That was
that's
part of the original plan in the overall Wilson Park thing. So we don't know where we're at.
The memorial thing.
Well, that was my understanding, is that from different employees there, but we just don't know yet.
Okay. Well, we are still interested in this project. So let that be known.
So when we table something, as Commissioner Warren pointed out, that is time driven, should we kind of stipulate when we're going to bring this back? I mean, you don't want to wait until the heat of August to say go down and plant things and still survive. That's like a recipe for failure. Can we narrow this scope down so it doesn't just slide?
yeah, I mean, that's something that we could take care of between now and the next meeting. If
Okay.
just tell us what you want out of us and we'll do it. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, what, I was kind of confused. What are we going to do? I mean, are we going to take it out or, I mean, I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know everything either. I was under the understanding that in that total scope of work that's been proposed over there, that was to be removed. And so
where you have to go back to, I mean.
Well, I think it'd be worth asking the Dockings whether that's, what their feelings are on that, since it's something they invested in. And
Okay.
So do we have a paper trail on discussion of this? I'm just curious to have, so those kinds of conversations haven't been held?
It's just stuff, within staff members that the folks that are involved, that take care of the parks and stuff, were under the understanding that was come down. So that's about as much as I know at this point. So,
I mean, that just.
Well, if it doesn't come down, I mean, if the Dockies did want to come down, then we go ahead and do it. I mean, is that the hold up then? Or, I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I was under the understanding that there had been something put on the ground to kill the ground.
They sterilized the dirt.
Sterilized the ground because they got tired of taking care of the weeds.
And that's true. And then they did put some dirt back over that this year.
But I'm concerned that once the roots get to that, it's going to kill the plant.
But wouldn't they spray it?
No, they,
I can't answer.
We don't have those
Yeah.
answers.
But I know
They probably had to spray it this year. If they sprayed it last year, it's probably gone by now, you know. So,
I'm going to get in trouble. It seems like a great deal of activity. Well, it's either a great deal of activity or a great deal of lore minus activity. But it seems like somewhere that we ought to be looking at something that says this, at some point in time, this was whether it was a staff discussion with some documentation and an action plan, or just ideology. I mean, it's like the folks who I mean, there are lots of nagging little tasks that sometimes are staffing burdens. Say, why don't we just, but is that a staff decision? Is that a staff departmental decision? Where did this, I mean, I don't think we should just act off of somebody said, unless it's music, like somebody done somebody wrong song, but so there should be some sort of artifacts, some record somewhere that says, here's the discussion, we took these actions. I hope that that's the way that we're operating, within the scope of the city, is that somebody knows what everybody's doing, as opposed to somebody just doing something and saying, oh, I thought we were going to,
I think 2 weeks should be enough time for a table. I agree, we don't need to take this out that long. If the Dockies don't want it down. I mean, I understand the concern from a city standpoint, as in at least the staffing is watering it, maintaining it. If plants get taken out, if someone trashes the plants, they don't want to be putting them back in. And I think if the committee or the Friends of Wilson Park are going to do that and the Dockies want to do it, what's a year going to hurt for them to do it for a year? And if it gets taken out in a year, then it gets taken out in a year. And if, let's talk to the Dockies first. It's their funding. It's their finding. I mean, they're the ones whose name's on it. I mean, if they don't want to lose it, then let's not, I mean, I hate to, someone's invested, especially they've invested a lot of time and money and commitments in this community for years. And you hate to just, I don't know where this talk of it getting taken out next week or next month or eventually is. I mean, if it gets taken out in September and plants don't get planted in the fall, or they're gone then. So if I can get plants to last till September myself, I'm happy. So.
well,
I agree. There should be some type of trail that says this is staff, what they said. Here's what they said. Here's what we need to do. Here's why we do or don't want to do it. And here's what they said. They're tearing it down. And if that's what you're getting at, I agree. There should be some of that.
I mean, it's because it seems a lot of ambiguity here in terms of who's saying what. And, so I'm not saying it hasn't been said, it hasn't been discussed, but we do have a workflow process, right? Where people don't just come in the morning and say, hey, I think I'm going to take a sledgehammer to.
I think part of the problem is that the staff that take care of the parks and stuff haven't been involved in the beautification committee that looks at these types of things. And so those are some things that have got to get worked out. There's no communication really between those groups.
Oh, okay. I can see clearly now.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, it's not costing the city one penny, because they're buying all the grass and whatever they're planting there, and they're going to be watering, they're going to be taking care of it. So, I mean, the staff, I mean, this shouldn't be anything on the staff part of it. I mean, they're not going to be using it.
And my thing is, if they put the plants in and kids go in and trash them, they're not going to call the city and say, hey, you need to go put cameras in to capture those kids, or they'll plant them again, or they'll keep an eye on it. I think as long as the city staff's not responsible for taking a water truck down to water them and maintain them and do that, I don't know what the cost is. I mean, there's other expenses involved in this city that I think far more than what that would be even if they had to.
Okay, where
You wanna
we,
say something?
can I just, where we at? I didn't mean for us to, because we said we want to defer and get information. I'm just like trying to, maybe I've been away a while, you know, a couple of generations have passed since I was here, but there ought to be some sort of defined process where this is happening, and it's scary to me. Maybe that's totally unrelated to whether or not we pursue this or pursue the DNR of the structure. It just, it's unnerving to me that we don't have something that says this is the history of the discussion of this, the problem statement, whether, you know, the vandalism has been, and, you know, usually well, in another lifetime, I would see, well, we've had to spend this much money and it's become, you know, cost prohibitive, you know, undesirable. You know, it doesn't seem to have a value to this. And so if we see that, then we are knowledgeably saying, wait a minute, we have a plan. And we probably could have saved that group the time of deliberating over some act by saying, well, we're just going to take it out. But then we have the family who has an association with it. And I think that would be quite an offense for it to be gone without the family having voiced their sentiments also, you know. So, but there's got to be a workflow for the things that we do in the city. And if I don't know if that makes sense or doesn't make sense. There should be, well, staff report says this, and now I'm impinging on your right. If anybody knows any reason why this man should not speak, let him speak now.
I apologize. I was outside taking pictures because that's my new role, evidently. But so this conversation came up at work session. Obviously, you know that. So I became indirectly involved in that conversation because it got brought up that there was maybe some vandalism issues pertaining to that fountain area. So what I did was I went back a whole year from March 11th to see what disorder issues we'd had in the park. And none of the 7 things that I found had anything to do with the fountain. And so if talking to other staff within the city, they had information about vandalism, that was not relayed to us and made a formal report with. So, you know, some of the things that we had stretching back to December of last year was a sex offense, but it wasn't, again, in that area, criminal damage because there was a broken slide. There was a juvenile fight. There was a fire under one of the slides. There was drugs found in the rotunda area. There's a warrant arrest and some criminal damage. A Chromebook that is privately owned by someone was broken. So that really just kind of rounds out the activity in Wilson Park for the last whole year. So I just didn't identify anything that pertained directly to the docking fountain area. I don't know if that's going to be important in this decision-making process, but I thought that I'd go ahead and share that with you.
Well, and staff has said that they don't report everything, that they don't.
Okay. And so we can have internal conversations that those kind of things do need to be reported to us. So that way we can track it and we can deploy resources to the Wilson Park area, whether it is putting a camera up or doing extra patrols to make sure that these things aren't happening.
Okay.
So is it reason, Madam Mayor? Let me address
Go ahead.
No, I'm okay. Okay. So is it a reasonable, so that we could direct staff under your guidance? Is it a reasonable thing that we think it's reasonable that the city manager has sufficient staff to do a record search to see if there is documentation about this? If there's a plan for DNR of the memorial, do we need the blessing of, I mean, all those things we want to touch on and have in front of us and do that so we don't have somebody throwing rocks at us as we're driving down the street because you didn't ask me. But so can we do that and bring that back in 2 weeks? I'm sorry. Is that reasonable?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, and do we have a motion out right now?
Well, my feelings is I don't think you're going to find anything because there hadn't been any paperwork on the thing. As long as I've been, I mean, on that thing. I mean, I just think that we can bring it back 2 weeks, but I just think that we need, I think it's going to be something nice that, you know, we got people in our community are willing to make something
So,
better than what it is right now.
and I'm trying to get us away from the pro or for or against, and so much, can we have a citizen group request? Can we have a staff position or recommendation? Is that something we can get, and then we weigh what it seems reasonable to staff to do versus, you know, just so that we're not, I don't want us to make it, I'm not comfortable making a decision off of somebody said that this or that should be, or you did say if the dockings don't want it. You didn't say the dockings don't.
I haven't spoke to him.
Okay, so I just,
Willing to speak for, because I just going off what I would be, yeah, I might.
Anything about it. In the plan, the overall plan, I was told, I don't even remember it myself, in the overall plan when they were restructuring and how they were going to do it. So we have no idea if that's,
so
I was just told that.
I don't see it being an unemotional decision when we have it, but I think it needs to be more than just pathos, just emotion. I think we should look at something and say, this is the right thing to do. I think ultimately we'll have to say, this is the right thing to do, which is either to say we don't need
Okay.
that structure there. And we can do that in a couple of weeks if the staff can.
It's fine to speak.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
How long has it been there? How long have we had that in the park?
With the non-working fountain, I don't know when the memorial went up.
I'll say close to 4 years.
40 years? Okay. And how long has the fountain not worked?
Close to probably 20 maybe. That's just a guess.
Yeah, and it was from vandalism is what I was told by the park people.
Changing over from the fountain to flowers. Okay.
So, do we have any sort of motion? Yes.
Madam, only thing is, are we getting we're getting comments? Do you have a record of who's speaking?
I don't. If they can come up to the podium and state their name, I can get to their names.
Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Sorry, Leslie.
I'm sorry. I'm Chris Hutton, Hutton. And I represent the Retired Teachers Association here in Rock City. We've been around for a while. One of our community service projects that we've been considering, because I saw all of this in the paper, and I had talked with Andrew Lawson, and we've had several meetings. In fact, the last meeting that we attended was at the water department, that building, and it was tabled. And I assume because of all of these comments and concerns, but as a community project, as well as beautification, we would like to be part of the project as far as planting and things like that. Now, we would be a little bit limited in the care of it because of some of our people, but we wanted to help plant. We've been in a project out at the Nature Center with mason bees. It was very successful, and for butterflies, you know, planting butterflies plants, which would be better than the bee thing, or mason bees, I should say, but butterfly plants and stuff like that. And I don't know what you guys are thinking about, but maybe.
Yes, plants.
Yeah.
We have been approved.
So I'm sorry, were you done?
Go ahead.
Were you done? No,
I'm done.
I gotta work. Yeah, okay, my intent was, it sounds like we have people who have some sense of investment in this decision that are here. And if we could capture them then, because we're going to table this, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but, and we're going to get this information, but we want to know who the speakers are. And then we'll have a full discussion on the issue when it's when we're ready to bring it back. Is that okay? And let me go ahead and continue, because I think my little light bulb came on, and I think that my intuition was that there might have been some communication chasms between the city liaison interfacing with some of the boards to where we might not have fully understood what their interest, they may not have understood what's actually going on inside of City Hall. And I really think that it's better to have all the partners at stake. At least give them a chance to be here, staff-wise, if there's staff that has a recommendation. And I'm sorry, and I'm talking too much. I am. But I just want to, and I'm really kind of trying to dissuade, I'm not saying you can't speak, trying to dissuade the presentation, because I think we'd rather hear all the information in 2 weeks.
Just to be brief. If you don't mind.
Well, I'm sorry, we're making eye contact, but the mayor actually gets to grant the floor.
My name is Tammy Landon Henderson, and I'm coming here speaking on behalf of the Equal Employment Opportunities Accessibility Advisory Board and the Friends of Wilson Park, along with the Beautification. And personally, it's not an issue of it being tabled, although this will be the third time it's been tabled. So my question and my hope is that when it comes back up again, we have to have all the facts. So somebody needs to be in contact with this Docking family, because we've already researched and gathered all the things we need as far as what we can plant. Okay, and we have enough of us citizens of this community that is willing to put in the time and the effort to maintain that, even if it's just for a year. It's just about letting us do it, because we want to take the time to do it, because we love Wilson Park and we just think it'd be a beautiful thing there in the park. That's all we're asking. So if the Dockings are wanting that down, if the city has a plan that they want to tear that down, we need to know that, because this is the first, well, this meeting is not the first kind of that we've heard that it was a thought of it being taken down, but it was never addressed to us when we were doing all this planning. So we want to be able to come back. The Friends of Wilson Park, along with the Beautification Board, we want to come back to be a part of that meeting so that we can all come together and decide what's the best thing to do, because we're ready. We want to get this. We need to know what's going on, because we're not asking for anything from the city except for maybe bringing our water hose and connecting it to turn on the water, just the water that goes in the flower. But if we got to bring our own, trust me, I got coolers. I got no problem. Okay, we got it.
May I?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm sorry, my comments were triggered by the query about had we clarified whether or not it was going to be taken down. And then there was some discussion about the rationale for that, who said that, who did this, that type of thing. And to me, it just sounded like this is April. This is April, and it's my last month of being able to blame it on being new here, okay? And not knowing the history of everything. But I'm going to invoke it just seems like the whole conversation has some holes that need to be tied together. And I really do think that, without saying that, I'm going to say it this way, Madam Mayor, I think that we might get more linear communication now that we have a different organizational design from the city manager's office. I think right now we don't have the city manager and then another layer of staffing and then the departments. So now we might get more concise information and be able to deliberate on that. But but it's, I think I said that politically correct too.
In a short amount of time. I'm kidding.
You're fine. So having said that, and we don't have a motion on the floor, so with our intent to make this decision over the request or the action, this is actually two different things. What's the disposition of the city and the structure, and what's the interest of this group? But to have this, the complete story, and to find out rather than we don't want to be known as the group who makes anecdotal decisions. Somebody said that somebody said that somebody said. So let's get something that's, I'm sorry. I move that we would table, give the staff 2 weeks to come back to this board, this body, with information by which we can, and a recommendation if they have it, by which we can take an action. And we probably will take, well, I can't say, I don't know what action we'll take. I'm just saying, let's do it knowledgeably. That's my thoughts. And I think we can just stop me whenever you.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Thank you.
We said you're second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have one thing.
Okay.
So you're basically going to get a hold of the Dockings and see if they want that thing there basically between now and then. Okay. And then you'll meet with,
Friends of Wilson Park.
yeah, Friends of Wilson Park after that. And then you guys work it out to bring it back to our meeting.
I'll have to get, and I'll get the staff involved that actually takes care of the parks as well, so.
Okay. So you'll have a three-way communication.
That sounds more comprehensive.
Okay. I just want to make sure we got it, you know.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, and Madam Mayor,
Yes.
before we proceed, could you have someone give me a word count? How many words do I have left to use tonight?
You're good.
Two.
Two.
Okay. Two.
Well, he's got 5 items to vote on still, so he's got to have at least 5 on board.
Okay, aye or nay? I
Okay.
can nod. Okay, thank you.
We are now at new business. Okay.
New business item 1, consider first reading of an ordinance adopting the budget pay plan to become effective April 9th, 2022.
Do you have anything you want to talk about on the pay plan?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes, pay plan.
I'm so sorry. I was talking. I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay, Madam Mayor and Commission, I am bringing to you a change to our current pay ordinance. The first one is that we are adding the job title Sergeant Detective, or asking for your approval to add that job title. It is not creating another position. It is just creating another job title and the job description. And then we do have on the pay ordinance right now, the position is titled Detective Lieutenant. And in talking with Chief Burr, I learned that it is proper to place the rank before the job title. So it goes Lieutenant Detective. So we just wanted to flip that around. Then the third one is that on the municipal project manager position, we as a group decided that we'd like to change it from range 28 to range 29. And that is just the difference of a couple $1,000s, okay? From starting at around 47 to around 49. And I will tell you that in talking with a lot of HR professionals around the state and in the area, a lot of communities, counties, employers, et cetera, are having to raise their wages. And of course, we are dealing with salary compression and all those types of things that I'm sure we'll talk about later. But we thought it best in recruiting and retention to raise that up just a little bit. Then on number 4, we had the public information officer / special projects coordinator position. Okay, that was at a 28. That's the position that Andrew was in. And we have changed that job description somewhat and the job title to communications director. We think that better suits the direction that we want to go with social media, branding, those sorts of things. And also raise that particular position from a 28 to a 29.
Words left to use.
I'm gonna give you 7.
7. What, okay, Madam Mayor,
Yes,
one question.
absolutely.
Why is this not part of the fiscal year budget discussion as it reflects salaries and things?
That'd be my question to answer. Yes, I can answer that. At times when you have staff leaving or attrition, sometimes you think about reorganization. And that is what we did. And we think from what we learned, both of those positions that we're talking about, the last time they were filled was the first time they were filled. And so those positions kind of grew over time. And so we were more comfortable with defining the job requirements and the essential functions. And so, yeah, it did happen at a mid-year time, but it came on the heels of separation of employees in those similar positions.
Not against my word count. I'm invoking I'm the new guy thing.
Okay,
Go
new guy.
Do we have, do we still do a fiscal year budget and then a projected budget like for the coming, do we like to, or do we, I mean,
Yeah, so these changes, they're minimal. And so just the starting pays are a couple $1,000s apart, but that doesn't mean that where we were at in a mid 28 range isn't going to fall within budget in the lower 29 range. So those are things that we looked at with finance director as we were making these recommendations. It was just these positions we felt like needed to have the ability to attract the right person.
Tweak it a little bit, yeah.
And so, again, we're not, you're not talking about possibly a great deal of change. Both these folks were in their positions for a while, and they were up in the higher mid levels of the 28. And so, depending on the type of person that we bring in for like the communication director, the level of experience that they may have, it'll play into that. But it doesn't. We're still within our budgetary ranges that we budgeted for this year. So.
How much compression is this going to create?
Not a great deal. When we look at this, we look at the positions surrounding and within the same pay range and try to look at the knowledge, skills, and abilities required by each job and make sure we don't get out of line just because we're wanting to get somebody hired. And I will tell you that one of our next projects on our plate is to do some looking at external information as well as internal pay rates and doing some real deep looking at entry level rates, compression, all of those things, and do a real in-depth salary study on our own. And that's coming up. That's one of the next big projects on the plate.
Well, the way I look at it is we're going to have to kind of think outside the box a little bit because with what's going on in the economy, the way everything's upside down right now, you can't find people to work. And we want to maintain and keep people, but also we want to get good people, if we can find good people, qualified to work for the city of Arkansas City. And it's going to be tough if we go down the road farther. I mean, it's just, we're just, unless we start doing what we're doing right now, kind of looking outside the box and when somebody leaves, why to leave and change maybe the format like he did on Andrew Lawson or something like that, get a better qualified person to come in. So.
Yeah, I agree. We got to try to stay competitive in today's world. Everyone's looking for employees. Everyone's looking for hard work. So everyone's offering a little bit more, a little bit different packages. And I think our health insurance is one of them. I mean, this is just a way to try to get the people we need here to help run our city. And these are the people we need to get here to do the job we're trying to get for them to do. And so, I mean, seeing that there's no estimated additional annual costs budgeted in this, going back to Commissioner Jennings' question, and then just knowing what we've got to try to do as a city. I mean, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the ordinance adopting the budgeted pay plan.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance. Any further discussion?
Of note, I'm becoming bizarro, Commissioner Jennings, or I'm in the bizarro world. These things have a way of taking, that's why I ask about the budgetary process, with a fiscal year budget and then a projected following year budget. That is where we kind of forecast, so then staff is saying, look, we're lagging, some of that stuff you do. We're lagging behind on competitive salary and wage. What do we do? Because there are things like that. So the ripple effect is in, you have other capable, competent employees working here whose reason for departure might also be somebody else somewhere else is paying us, and then we raise them, and then soon we're getting into something that is a budgetary thing. And then when we slide too much on the budget, then we are challenging what we've committed to in terms of our assessment on the citizens. So I just want us to think that way. It's okay to, in this instance, that's an ugly way to say it, but that's the only way I can say it. To cherry pick and say, I think we need to be competitive here and here and here. But all our employees are living in the same economy with the same challenges. And you just have to
be careful that we don't.
You have to be careful that you don't have everybody coming in pounding and saying,
I think that's what, and I agree that, because you're right, because if you start bumping this one up, then these people need to be bumped, then these people need. So I think you look at, and that's what I think she was saying, they looked at that with the rate, and I think next year's study, diving down, that's a great idea. You're going to have to start analyzing how we pay, what we pay. I think you're going to have to start digging into that next year with that study and looking at it. I see exactly what you mean, because I understand it. Yes, you got to make sure everything's within line and reason, and yet you're not making your budget that's supposed to be this big for payroll, and all of a sudden it knocks everything else out of the water, projects. I think that's what you're trying to get to.
What was you going to say, Randy?
Yeah, I was going to say on these two particular positions, how the different, there's several obviously across the board. We need to be, like you said, we need to do the study. There's several areas that are probably out of line that need to be adjusted. But in these two particular areas, they're vacant. We went in and they're a totally different job than what the person that left them. We revamped the job description. They're going to be more focused on certain areas than previous. So I think that's kind of where the difference is on this one compared to the other departments that we do need to be looking at, and the areas, jobs that need to be looked at. So.
Commissioner Jennings, I will say that it is a very difficult position to be in, because the employees, I'm HR, so that's what I'm about. And I would love to give everybody anything they need. But then again, there is a budget. So it is a very difficult position. We're going to try to do our best with the information we can get.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Jennings?
Can't you call Commissioner J first?
No, because he's a W.
Restate the motion, please. So our motion is to,
approve first reading of an ordinance adopting the budgeted pay plan to become effective April 9th, 2022.
yep, aye.
Aye. Yes.
It's a feeble one, but it's an aye.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Spielman?
Aye.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Mayor Gainer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I change my aye to a yes?
Huh?
Can I change my aye to a yes?
No.
That's fine.
Consider resolution amending resolution 2018-12-3222 to alter the schedule of city commission reorganization meetings and to reaffirm the automatic rescheduling of any regular city commission meeting that would fall on a city designated holidays.
Sure. Mayor, Commissioners, this is from Mayor. As a matter of fact, several years back, the law was changed, so we had to have our reorganization meeting on a certain Monday in January. And it was very specific in the statute. That statute was amended, I think, 2018, 2019. And so we are amending our ordinance to reflect that. Gives us the window of time. If we don't pass this resolution, then we're stuck with that particular Monday, I think the second, third Monday, whatever, in January. Trying to avoid that. We want to get it back to our regular meeting. This motion is in line. This resolution will be in line with the new statute as it's been amended and allows you to have your reorganization meeting or usual first Tuesday
Of January.
in January. Thank you.
You ready for a motion?
Yes.
I move that we approve the resolution number 2, the amending, approve the resolution amending resolution number 2018-12-3222 to alter the schedule of city commission reorganization meetings and to reaffirm the automatic rescheduling of any regular city commission meetings that would fall, I need some water, fall on city designated holidays.
Second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Consider a resolution transferring certain real estate located at 401 West Madison.
Okay, so as you know, there is Rupp Helmer, it's a developmental group. They're wanting to develop a retail location there. We previously sold them some property through the land bank. And if you go to the survey page on here, they're needing to purchase the hashed areas off, I believe it is, to finish the project. John here is with Rupp Helmer, and he can answer any questions about the project you may have. But the area that they're wanting to purchase is some former railroad right of way. There's a big drainage area in there now that they're going to, if the project moves forward, that they would box in and cover up to allow the drainage to happen. So really the property right there now isn't very developable for any other purpose. But in conjunction with the property that they've purchased from the land bank and this, there's plenty of room there to do what they need to do, and they're willing to do it. So recommendation from staff would be that we would sell it to a little or no cost to them, because there isn't much use to the property. It's just sitting there.
So that's what we need to have in this consider resolution transferring the property. We need a value of that in that motion. I'll make a motion. We consider a resolution transferring a certain real estate located at 401 West Madison Avenue for $1.
Is that your motion?
Yeah.
I second.
We have a motion and a second considering the transfer of real estate. Do we have any further discussion?
Well, the property is not, we can't build on it. It's really worthless. And he's going to go in and develop it. So it's just, it's something that we don't have to maintain and gets out of our problems.
And I think it'll be a great addition to the south end of town that the type of business that will be going there will be very helpful for that area. So there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah, we thank you for coming.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, this is a voice vote. All in favor signify with aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. When are we getting our dollar?
You have that dollar in your pocket now? Okay. We'll get him before he leaves.
All right, next.
Consider resolution approving an administrative services proposal submitted by Ransom Financial regarding American Rescue Plan adequate funding.
It's a bit automatic.
$12,500.
So as you're well aware, over the next 2 years, we're receiving $1.7 million approximately in ARPA funding. Part of the requirements with that funding is that we have to provide certain reporting in a timely manner back to the federal government. And if we don't do that, we get to pay it back. So that's what we would like to request, that we accept a proposal from Ransom Financial Services. It's one of the things that they do is financial reporting to state and federal agencies on projects and funding. They're set up to do it. They do a lot of it and they're good at it. We're going to spend most of our money on one project on the waste plant, so we don't anticipate there being a lot of reporting requirements. So I don't think we'll come anywhere close to the not to exceed amount. Basically, it's an $85 an hour that they charge to do the work that they do when they do it. So.
Well, the way I look at it, it's cheap insurance, especially when you get $1.7 million and we don't have to pay one penny of it back. I mean, that's cheap insurance right there for us, for our protection. That being said, I make a motion we consider the resolution approving the administrative service proposal submitted by Ransom Financial regarding American Rescue, Rescue Plan Act 8 RPA funding for the amount not to exceed $12,500. Excuse me.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I might add as well too, since these ARPA funds have come out, the requirements, the reporting requirements, how they can be spent, all kinds of things has just been a really moving target. They've been all over the place. They keep changing things. And so that's another benefit of a group like this, is that they stay on top of those changes and are watching that. And so
I have one question. If they say they didn't fill out something right or something like that, and we have to pay some money back, will they be responsible for it or not? I mean, since they're going to be overlooking this.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, they should be responsible for it. I don't know that we're going to get.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Good question, Jay.
Item 4.
Consider a resolution adopting by reference the updated personnel policies and guidelines manual for the city of Arkansas City and repealing resolution number 2022-02-346.
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, I want to thank you for all the work you did in approving the employee manual that I did for February 1st effective date. I am probably a little overboard in being particular with things that I write, and so I reviewed the document very well before I sent it to print, and I did find an error. And then I found a couple of things I thought I needed to add, but I'm done. So these are the things that I wanted to bring to your attention so that you don't have to read the entire document, but to tell you what I did between the last version and this one. Okay. First of all, if you were to compare them word for word, you're going to notice that there are several wording changes. Not anything substantial that I'm going to tell you about here. They were just for better flow. I thought better writing, better punctuation. So, but what I did do that does have some bearing is, first of all, I defined the term work week. I determined that that was not in the manual and it came up in further text, so I thought it needed to be defined. The second thing is that we have 2 employee assistance programs. One of them is called Impact, and it's for all city employees. And then the other one is called Compliance One, and it's for CDL holders because they have special requirements. And so I noted that for some reason, Compliance One has never been included in the manual, so I added it for the CDL holders. Then I defined the term call-in, defined the term no call, no show.
What do you mean by call in?
Call-in, when someone calls in to work.
Okay.
And just defined it as, because in a document that is so important such as this, you want to be so very clear. Then on job abandonment, I tried to write it so it read a little better. The thing that started this whole thing was holiday time banked. We had so many discussions over the banked levels, caps. And so I put the wrong numbers in the one that was approved for February 1st. I caught that and they are corrected here. It is 24 hours of holiday time bank cap for all city employees except fire EMS department employees that are working under the FLSA 7K exemption, which are going to be your people that are trained in fire suppression. So your firefighters and paramedics, okay? They can accrue
Back to her.
72 hours, okay? So I fixed that. And then the final thing, other than, like I said, punctuation, wording, all that type of thing, is that there is a Kansas statute that if someone is the victim of sexual assault or domestic violence, that an employer in Kansas has to provide them at least 8 days of leave per year. And so, but we had it before that the person, if they were off that time, could not accrue leave. And we thought that was punitive for someone who's already in a bad situation. We didn't like that. We want them to be able to accrue leave on that short 8 days that heaven forbid they'd have to be off. So those are the changes.
You gonna look at this again?
I'm done. I've got job descriptions to do and a pay study to do. I'm done.
First off, thank you for catching those mistakes and correcting them. But
Yes.
saying that, I'd like to make a motion, we consider resolution adopting by reference the updated personnel policies and guidelines manual for the city of Kansas City and repealing resolution number 2022-02-3461.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. And when I get it all printed, you'll all get a copy.
All right.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
one observation. I think you want to caution, or you might want to caution that we make sure that what's considered, some protocol that basically defines this is the official manual, so that there aren't old versions of it floating around that might have different information or different policy, and maybe date it,
To revise that one.
so that if there are any disputes, they're all looking at the same document. Sometimes people hang on to stuff for years, and
Okay.
the policies might be.
You would answer that question?
Yeah, I was going to address it too, but.
Yeah, we have methods for that. We are, I think, do pretty well at, we label the versions for the dates and
Rescinded that last one.
I even, like, job descriptions are even signed by the city manager with the date. So we try to be as transparent, because I've had to go back and try to figure out what version, and I don't like doing that. So, yeah,
And I think we just rescinded the old policy,
And
didn't
in
we?
addition to that, what we'll do is every time there's a change, we will repeal the old one and we will do the new one with the resolution like we did now. So the resolution that we have will be the one, and all the rescinded ones will no longer be.
So are these digital, electronic copies or hard copies?
we'll have both.
They have both.
And so you call in all the old,
Version.
you call in all the old paper copies? Is that what you do?
I don't know if you can control that.
Probably not, no, but I think as long as you have someone in the city clerk position and the HR position, we're going to keep track of that and we're going to know. And, we're not going to adopt a new version and not let people know.
And where are you going to put the resolution adopted by resolution number blah, and that will refer to be adopted by reference.
Okay, yes, I concur. It is very important.
All right. Other items?
Consider approving a request from South Central Kansas Medical Center for release of funds from the unpledged health care sales tax fund in the amount of $231,000.
And that's basically going to the reimbursement of the charity care for the months of, from March 2021 through October 2021. So.
Yeah, and we may remind everybody that 1% sales tax for the hospital building and all that, 95% of that's pledged for the debt. 5% of that is unpledged that can be used for other medical. There's 5 specific type items that can be used for. This would fit into one of those items that it could be used for as well. So.
And, the thing about it is we have those bad debts, what it goes for, and it falls into that area. And the taxpayers are paying the deal, but we're also helping people that can't pay their bills too, because we have quite a bit write off each month, well, not each month, but, in those period of time.
So this disbursement, this allocation of monies relieves so the hospital is not going to continue to try to pursue any of those patients for
Yes.
Right.
for payment.
Right.
They aren't.
Right.
Okay. Just,
Yeah.
okay. I know we had historical problems with that, so I just want to make sure.
Sure.
They're getting paid back
Mhm.
through this mechanism and those. Okay.
And a lot of those is money that people they can't pay begin with. I mean, we have to see every patient. We don't turn nobody down. So therefore, there's patients that don't have anything, and they get they go through a hospital and it's a 100% write off. They have no money. So.
Yeah, they have to do life saving.
Right, exactly right.
Care.
Mm-hmm.
There are some procedures that they don't pursue because the folks not having a
Sure. Well, that being said, I make a motion we consider approving the request of the SCKMC for the release of funds from the unpledged healthcare sales tax fund in the amount of $231,000. No.
Don't have a motion?
There's a motion, and we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion regarding it? All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. City manager?
Well, we're gonna have to rush really quick to get there, but the Cali County Legislative Forum is tonight at 6. I won't get into that one too much. The 2022 Outstanding Student Awards nominee reception will be held Monday, April 11th at 6 p.m. at the Cali County Robert Brown Theater. The next Rise Cali Steering Committee will be 10 a.m.
What time is that?
That is 6 p.m.
Okay.
The next Rise Cali Steering Committee meeting is 10 a.m. on Tuesday, the 12th. at Fort County Mental Health, Strother Field. Then there is the next monthly Cali County Legislative Committee meeting is Tuesday, April 12th. That'll be at the Winfield Chamber office at noon. Next Traffic Safety Committee meeting is at 10 a.m. on Friday, April 15th in the water conference, or the conference room at the water treatment facility. Our next City Commission study session is scheduled noon Friday, April 15th. And then last week, the Kansas Rural Water Association had their annual conference, and Arc City Water was once again competing for the best in the state. And our water won again. So congratulations to our water professionals. They did a great job of producing the best tasting water in the state of Kansas.
Hopefully that'll be on the front page of the Traveler.
Yeah. We'll
This water is second.
Year in a row.
2 years in a row.
We'll give John a bottle of water and maybe him up a little bit there. And then this Thursday, at the 7th, I believe it's at 1 or 1:30. The draft, the students from South Dakota State University are gonna present their draft conception plans that they worked on when they were here a few months ago for the downtown visioning.
And what is that?
That is, that's this Thursday, the 7th, and I believe it's at 1. I got my calendar up. I didn't write down the time. It'll be via Zoom and
it'll be Zoom. Okay.
1:30. So if anybody wants to come sit in my office and
we have a retreat next week.
Yeah, and then we'll have the retreat on the 12th.
Okay.
Right. Any further business to come before the commission?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I think it would be a great disservice to the citizens of our Kansas City and to the state of Kansas as a whole if we were to conclude this meeting without acknowledging, making some record of the fact, just a simple little rock.
No.
Chalk.
Nope.
AU.
I knew that was coming.
National champion.
Don't make it a proclamation of Jayhawk Day or anything. Don't do that.
So I think it's imperative that we congratulate those fine fellows, Lawrence, Kansas, the University of Kansas basketball team, Coach Bill Self and his team for prevailing in what was the most entertaining basketball competition in the last 3 decades, prevailing over our B team from the University of North Carolina.
Well, I might add to that, Charles, that you get to the national championship goes through the Big 12.
Here we go. That's it. That is important.
Yeah, the national championship has to go through the Big 12.
The Big 12.
Right.
AU, Baylor, Texas Tech. All just started
That being said, I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
So is it worth the drive to Winfield at this time? Did they start at 6?
About that. Yeah, I can't.